After Lin Yao logged out, the air inside the safe house felt heavy, like the room had just been soaked by a gray rain. The metal box on the table had not been opened. But above its surface, the faint outline of that miniature altar still remained. It was incomplete. Like a shadow that reality was barely able to carry. The gray-white flame had burned for only a breath before going out, but the warmth left behind by that single breath had not faded. Lin Yao stood before the table and did not touch it right away. He knew this was not an ordinary item projection. Back in the first season, the purification roster appearing in reality had already been shocking enough. In the second season, the embryonic projection of the Lord's sacrificial order had made the second research group completely unable to sit still. And now, even the War Soul altar had left traces of projection. That meant the building-level rules of Obsidian Town were trying to fall into reality. Not a blade. Not a skill. Not some monster. But an entire system. His phone was still vibrating. Xinhuan, Chenshu, Yijiwei, Song Yuan, Luo Wence. Every message was like a hand reaching toward him from a different direction. Someone wanted confirmation. Someone wanted assessment. Someone wanted to witness it. Someone wanted to use it. Someone wanted to declare war. Lin Yao replied to Xinhuan first. I successfully established the War Soul altar. Xinhuan replied almost instantly. Reality side confirmation received. The second research group has internally raised your risk level to red. Lin Yao looked at the word red, and his expression did not change. He had known long ago that this would happen. The War Soul altar was not just a game building. It connected the roster, the responsibility register, the contract withdrawal roster, the nameless record, the battlefield diversion law, and the main flame of the War Soul spark. To the second research group, something like this was far too dangerous. Because it was not a single anomalous object. It had expandability. It had organizational capability. It had a rule-based nature that could resist protocols and military orders. More troublesome still, it could allow people already judged by the system as experimental samples, high-risk targets, or out-of-control contaminated individuals to regain the chance to withdraw and be diverted. That was equivalent to shaking the foundation of part of the second research group's procedures. Xinhuan sent another message. Team Leader Chen requires you to complete a reality cognition stability confirmation within 6 hours. It is not an interrogation. It is to confirm that you have not been reverse controlled by the altar. Lin Yao replied. All right. Xinhuan wrote. There is one more thing. From last night until now, at least 13 synchronized sleep-muttering incidents have appeared on the reality side. Lin Yao's gaze darkened. Content? Xinhuan sent over a summary. Multiple people repeatedly said in their sleep, withdrawal valid, temporary name may remain, do not clear. Another 3 repeatedly said, return to formation, return to 0, blockers eliminated. The 2 types of sleep muttering are in conflict with each other. One of the patients briefly forgot their own name after waking up. Lin Yao sat down at once. This was not a simple aftershock. Both the Obsidian rules and the Black Tide military orders had begun to leave traces on the reality side. He asked. Are the locations scattered or concentrated? Xinhuan took a few seconds before replying. Mostly scattered. But 4 cases are concentrated in a certain district of New Taipei. Lin Yao looked at the location on the screen, and his eyes shifted slightly. New Taipei. It was not very far from the safe house where he was staying. Xinhuan added. Among them, 2 had logged into Divine Domain Era before, one is a player's family member, and one has no clear login record. Even someone with no login record was sleep muttering. That meant synchronization contamination had begun spilling over to non-players. The situation was moving faster than expected. Lin Yao replied. Does Chen Shu know? Qin Wan answered. He knows. The third field team has already sent people over. The second research group also wants to send people. Lin Yao asked. How will you handle them? This time, Qin Wan was silent for a long while. At last, she replied. The existing procedure is isolation, observation, sedation, and contamination level determination. But if what they are saying is withdrawal valid or temporary name may remain, I do not know whether we should let the medical team suppress it. Lin Yao understood what she meant. If the reality side medical procedure treated all these sleep mutterings as symptoms and suppressed them, it might instead suppress the victim's own voices as they were trying to withdraw. But if they were not suppressed, the sleep muttering might spread, lose control, and trigger stronger synchronization. This was the greatest difficulty of the third season's reality side storyline. Inside the game, rosters, talismans, and fire seeds could be used to handle it. In reality, game rules could not casually be used to overwrite people. Lin Yao looked at the residual shadow of the altar on the metal box. He suddenly remembered that the War Soul altar had once indicated it could stabilize withdrawers, temporary name holders, those who had lost speech, and reversible L-series individuals. If such people had begun appearing on the reality side, could the altar provide a faint form of support? He reached out and pressed his hand against the metal box. The gray-white fire mark lit faintly. A system prompt surfaced. War Soul Altar Reality Weak Projection Unstable. Can provide one instance of low-level name settling support. Range, single target or small enclosed space. Restriction, reality side name, temporary name, or withdrawal intent required as anchor. Warning, use will increase reality observation fluctuation. Lin Yao's gaze sharpened. It could be used. But the price was increased observation. He did not use it right away. He first simplified the prompt and sent it to Qin Wan. If anyone on the reality side repeats sleep muttering, do not forcibly suppress it right away. Confirm 3 things first: name, whether they want to withdraw, and whether they need a temporary name. Qin Wan replied. This is not an existing procedure. Lin Yao wrote. Then establish a temporary procedure. Qin Wan asked. Who needs to approve it? Lin Yao looked at his phone and replied. Chen Shu. A few minutes later, Chen Shu's message came directly. You want the reality side to establish a temporary name settling procedure? Lin Yao replied. Not a complete procedure. Only to avoid misjudging withdrawal reactions as ordinary contamination symptoms. Chen Shu wrote. Give me 3 steps. Lin Yao typed quickly. 1. Confirm whether the other party can still state their name. 2. If they reject their original name, do not force them. Ask whether they need a temporary name. 3. If they repeatedly say withdrawal, ask what they are withdrawing from. Do not directly sedate and suppress them. Chen Shu did not reply immediately. About a minute later, he answered. I will issue this as a temporary handling recommendation from the third field team. But I need to remind you, this will make the second research group even more dissatisfied. Lin Yao replied. They were already dissatisfied. Chen Shu wrote. Good. You can still talk back. Cognition stability temporarily normal. Lin Yao looked at that sentence and, for the first time, gained a slightly different impression of the leader of the third field team. Chen Shu was cold and hard, but he was not rigid. He stood on the side of reality side safety. As long as the Obsidian rules could be proven helpful to reality side safety, he would give them room. That mattered. But just as Lin Yao prepared to reorganize the reality side name settling procedure, his phone suddenly went black for an instant. The next second, the screen lit up by itself. A line of black-gray text appeared. Lin Yao. You have begun bringing the Obsidian rules into reality. Good. I have begun as well. There was still no signature. But Lin Yao knew who it was. Luo Wence. The black-gray text continued to appear. Tonight. New Taipei. The first reality military order point. Let us see whether your name-settling procedure can move faster than my military order. The text vanished. The phone returned to normal. Lin Yao immediately sent screenshots to Qin Wan and Chen Shu. This time, Chen Shu replied extremely fast. Address. Lin Yao looked at the 4 concentrated areas Qin Wan had sent earlier. In his heart, he already had the answer. Luo Wence was not making a threat. He was announcing that the test had begun. The old Salt Road inside the game had only involved 30 people. In reality, he intended to use an entire area to prove that the Obsidian roster was slower than the Black Tide military order. Lin Yao stood up and picked up the metal box. The box was heavy. As if what it carried was not only a roster, but also the shadow of an altar that had just been raised. The true first battle of the 3rd season was about to begin in reality. The 3rd field team's temporary handling point was set up inside an abandoned community activity center. It was located at the edge of an old residential district in New Taipei. During the day, it was a place where nearby elders played chess, community meetings were held, and residents voted. In the dead of night, the iron gate was half pulled down, and 2 black vans were parked outside. There were no markings on the vehicles, but the interiors were full of monitoring equipment. When Lin Yao arrived, Qin Wan was waiting at the entrance. Her complexion looked terrible. Team leader Chen is inside. Lin Yao asked, how many people? For concentrated cases at the moment. 2 more suspected cases are on the way. What about the second research group? Qin Wan lowered her voice. Yi Jiwei is here. 2 other researchers wanted to come in, but team leader Chen blocked them outside. Lin Yao nodded. This was already the best situation. If the second research group took over directly, those 4 people would very likely be treated as synchronized anomaly samples. Now, at least there was still a chance to establish a temporary procedure. After entering the activity center, Lin Yao immediately heard the sleep-muttering. Not from one person. Several people were speaking in broken fragments. Return to formation. Withdrawal valid. I am not. I am not. Do not call me that name. Blockers eliminated. The main hall of the activity center had been divided into 3 areas. The left side was the medical observation zone. The middle held the monitoring equipment. On the right, temporary curtains had been pulled up, and behind them lay 4 abnormal individuals. Chen Shu stood in the center, listening to Yi Jiwei's report. When he saw Lin Yao come in, he did not exchange pleasantries. The temporary procedure you wanted, I approved it. But this is reality. No game item may be used if it has not been confirmed harmless. Lin Yao lifted the metal box slightly. I will not use it first. We go through the procedure first. Chen Shu nodded. Good. Yi Jiwei looked toward Lin Yao with complicated eyes. She held a tablet in her hands. The 4 abnormal individuals are in different states. Subject A, male, 26, has a divine domain era login record, repeatedly sleep-mutters, return to formation. Subject B, female, 31, family member of a player, no login record, repeatedly says, withdrawal valid. Subject C, male, 19, player, briefly forgot his name and refuses to say his real name. Subject D, male, 45, No clear login record, but has shown aggressive sleep muttering, blockers eliminated. After hearing this, Lin Yao said at once, "Do not use A, B, C, and D as primary forms of address." Yi Jiwei froze. "Those are only temporary numbers." Lin Yao looked at her. "Temporary is acceptable, but they cannot be the main form of address. What they fear most right now is being overwritten by numbers." Chen Shu looked at Yi Jiwei. "Change it." Yi Jiwei took a deep breath. "Then we need names." Xinhuan handed the files to Lin Yao. The basic information for all four people was present. The male player, Chen Byron. The female family member, Lin Jiaying. The 19-year-old player, Wu Chang'an. The 45-year-old man, Guo Mingchuan. Lin Yao wrote the four names down on paper. It was not a roster. Only temporary paper in reality. But when he wrote down those names, the metal box warmed slightly. The War Soul Altar's weak projection had reacted. Lin Yao did not let it spill outward. He first walked to the side of the first person. Chen Byron lay on a folding cot, brows tightly furrowed, fingers constantly twitching. He kept murmuring, "Return to formation, return to formation. Marked 1, return to formation." On his right wrist was a faint black mark. It was almost invisible to the naked eye, but under the monitoring device, it showed a regular fluctuation. Yi Jiwei said, "He may be a residual L-series synchronized individual." Lin Yao asked, "What protocol has he come into contact with in reality?" Xinhuan checked the records. He took part in a Divine Domain high synchronization experience recruitment. Nominally, it was a stress test. The organizer was an outsourced company. Lin Yao gave a cold laugh. Outsourcing again. Testing again. Stress again. He crouched down, did not touch Chen Byron, and only said softly beside him, "Chen Byron." Chen Byron's sleep muttering stopped for an instant. "Return to formation." Lin Yao continued. "You are not a marked one. You are Chen Byron. If you want to withdraw, you can say withdraw." Chen Byron's breathing grew rapid. "Return to. Withdraw." Yi Jiwei immediately stared at the monitor. The fluctuation has changed. Lin Yao did not speed up. Reality was not the game. He could not use the Lord's sacrificial order to force it down. He only repeated, again and again, "Chen Byron. You do not have to return to formation. You can withdraw. You can wake up first." On the third repetition, Chen Byron suddenly opened his eyes. He gasped for air, like someone who had just been dragged out of deep water. His first sentence was, "I withdraw." Xinhuan immediately recorded it. Chen Shu looked at Yi Jiwei. "State?" Yi Jiwei looked at the equipment. Military order fluctuation decreasing. Heart rate elevated but controllable. Contamination resonance has not worsened. Chen Shu nodded. Temporary procedure effective in one case. Lin Yao did not relax. He asked Chen Byron, "What are you withdrawing from?" Chen Byron's eyes were still unfocused. I do not know." Lin Yao said. "If you do not know, you can say it first. Withdraw from returning to formation under concealed risk." Chen Byron repeated after him. "I withdraw from returning to formation under concealed risk." The metal box glowed slightly. But Lin Yao immediately pressed it down. He did not allow the projection to expand. This was only the first person. The second person was Lin Jiaying. She had never logged into Divine Domain era. But her younger brother was a player and was suspected of having participated in a high-risk synchronization test. She lay on the bed with tears at the corners of her eyes, repeating, "Withdrawal valid," he said. "Withdrawal is valid. Do not let him go back." This was not her own withdrawal. It was a family member's entanglement. Lin Yao looked toward Qinwan. Where is her younger brother? Qinwan's face turned ugly. Missing. For how long? 3 days. Lin Yao took a deep breath. A reality-side version of Du Li's thread. Searching for a family member, an entanglement through withdrawal. He crouched down and said softly, "Lin Jiaying. What you heard was your younger brother's withdrawal, wasn't it?" Lin Jiaying's eyelids trembled. He said, "He does not want." "What is his name?" "Lin. Lin Zhan." Lin Yao looked toward Qinwan. Qinwan immediately wrote it down. Lin Yao continued, "Lin Zhan's name has been recorded. You are not his substitute carrier. You can wake up and tell us his name." Lin Jiaying suddenly began to cry aloud. After waking, her first sentence was, "Please find him." Chen Shu's face sank. He immediately gave the order. "Investigate Lin Zhan. All login records, recruitment protocols, outsourced companies, final location." Lin Yao knew that the reality-side safe point was not only for handling contamination. It also needed to establish a missing persons roster. The third was Wu Chang'an. 19 years old. A player. He was awake, but refused to speak. His name was written in the records, but he covered his mouth tightly with both hands. Whenever someone called his real name, he trembled violently. The medical staff almost wanted to administer a sedative. Lin Yao stopped them. "Do not force his original name." He took out a piece of paper and wrote, "You can temporarily avoid using your original name. You can write a temporary name." Wu Chang'an looked at the paper, and tears suddenly fell. With trembling hands, he took the pen and wrote 2 characters. "Little boat." When Yi Jiwei saw this scene, her expression clearly changed. Because the fluctuation on the monitor dropped rapidly. Lin Yao said, "Temporary name, Little Boat. The right to recover or change the name later is retained. The original name will not be forced." Wu Chang'an, now temporarily named Little Boat, slowly nodded. This was the first temporary name case on the reality side. Qinwan's hands shook slightly as she recorded it. The fourth was Guomingchuan. His condition was the most dangerous. He had no login record, yet he kept repeating, "Blockers eliminated. Blockers eliminated." And in a half-awake state, he had attacked medical personnel. Chen Shu had 2 field operatives stand ready beside him. When Lin Yao approached, the metal box suddenly grew hot. The War Soul Altar projection had a strong reaction to him. Not withdrawal. Not a temporary name. Military order spillover. Guomingchuan might not be someone to be rescued. He might be an outer node of a reality military order point. The moment Lin Yao drew close, Guomingchuan suddenly opened his eyes. The edges of his pupils were gray-black. Blocker. Eliminate. He suddenly lunged toward Lin Yao. The 2 field operatives immediately moved to restrain him. But Guomingchuan's strength was abnormal. He actually broke free from one of them. Lin Yao did not retreat too far. He pressed down on the metal box and, for the first time, drew out an extremely weak form of War Soul Altar support. Gray-white firelight flared for only an instant. It did not attack Guomingchuan. Instead, in front of him, it formed the shadow of a diversion wooden tag. High risk. Chen Shu reacted extremely fast. High-risk restraint. The field operatives immediately changed their method. They did not treat Guo Mingchuan as an ordinary patient, nor did they injure him as an enemy. Instead, they used the high-risk restraint procedure to secure his limbs and head. Lin Yao said in a low voice. Guo Mingchuan, you are currently being affected by military order spillover. Blockers eliminated is not your name. Guo Mingchuan struggled violently. Eliminate. Eliminate. Lin Yao looked at him and suddenly asked. Who told you to eliminate? Guo Mingchuan's movements stiffened. Black blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. He spoke in a completely different voice. Tonight. Military order point. Open. The next second, he passed out. Everyone fell silent. Yi Ziwei's face was pale. The synchronization fluctuation just now was not his own. Chen Shu looked at Lin Yao. Luo Wence? Lin Yao nodded. Or a reality military order node left behind by Luo Wence. The temporary name settling procedure had been completed in 4 cases. The result was very clear. 1 withdrawer. 1 family entangled individual. 1 temporary name holder. 1 high-risk military order spillover case. This was the first batch of diversion categories on the reality side. Chen Shu looked at the 4 classifications written on the whiteboard and remained silent for several seconds. Then he ordered. Establish a temporary diversion table. From now on, synchronized sleep-muttering incidents will no longer be uniformly classified as contamination symptoms. They will first be handled under 4 categories: withdrawal, temporary name, missing person entanglement, and high-risk military order. Yi Ziwei seemed to want to say something, but in the end, she did not object. Because the data had already proven Lin Yao's procedure effective. But at that moment, the lights in the activity center flickered. Outside, the sharp sound of brakes rang out. Xinwan looked at the surveillance feed, and her expression changed. The second research group is here. Chen Shu's eyes turned cold. Who is leading them? Xinwan looked at the screen. Deputy Director He Chuan. Yi Ziwei's face also changed. Why did he come personally? Lin Yao looked toward the door. The first temporary name settling procedure on the reality side had only just proven effective, and the second research group had already arrived. This was no coincidence. They were not here to help. They were here to take over the results. The iron gate outside the activity center was knocked. Not an urgent pounding. 3 knocks. Very steady. Very polite. Yet carrying a sense of arrival that assumed it had every right to enter. Chen Shu did not have anyone open the door immediately. He looked toward Xinwan. How many people did they bring? Xinwan stared at the surveillance feed. 2 vehicles. He Chuan himself. 4 research group field operatives. 2 medical observers. And 1 containment case. Chen Shu's face chilled. Containment case? Lin Yao asked. What is it used to contain? Yi Ziwei answered in a low voice. High-risk anomalous objects, or high synchronization individuals. The air inside the activity center instantly turned cold. High synchronization individuals. That term could refer to contaminated people, or to Lin Yao. It could even refer to Little Boat, who had just established a temporary name, or Chen Byron, whose withdrawal had succeeded. The second research group had not come to support them. They had come to collect and contain. The knocking sounded outside again. 3 knocks. Still not urgent. Chen Shu walked to the door and signaled a field operative to open the outer iron gate, while the inner glass door remained locked. Outside stood a man around 50 years old. He was tall and thin, his hair neatly combed, wearing black-rimmed glasses. He wore a dark long coat, and his expression was gentle. If he had not appeared at this hour and in this place, he would have looked like a university professor. He Chuan, Deputy Director of the Second Research Group. Through the glass door, he looked at Chen Shu and nodded slightly. Team Leader Chen. Chen Shu did not open the door. You have crossed the line. He Chuan smiled. Synchronized anomaly incidents involve high-risk rule projections. The Second Research Group has the right to intervene. This site has already been taken over by the Third Field Team. That is why I have come to assist. The word assist sounded pleasant. But the containment case behind him had already made his true purpose clear. Chen Shu said coldly. Assistance does not require a containment case. He Chuan did not deny it. If an uncontrollable projection object exists on site, then it is required. His gaze passed over Chen Shu and landed on the metal box in Lin Yao's hands. Mr. Lin. A pleasure to meet you. Lin Yao stood in the center of the hall and did not walk over. You want to contain it? He Chuan's tone was calm. Not contain. Protective custody. Chen Shu's eyes grew colder. Lin Yao, however, laughed softly. Risk termination, safety observation, procedural correction, protective custody. You people really like changing the names of your actions. He Chuan looked at him. Language has always been a tool for lowering the cost of conflict. Lin Yao said. It can also be a tool for hiding costs. He Chuan was not angry. He even showed a hint of appreciation. No wonder you can establish contract withdrawal rules. You are very sensitive to linguistic packaging. Lin Yao did not accept the praise. What are you here to do? He Chuan said. 3 things. First, receive the complete data of the synchronized abnormal individuals on site. Second, assess the building-level rule projection held by Mr. Lin. Third, if it is confirmed that the projection will spread reality-side rules, recommend transfer to the Second Research Group's secure facility. Qinwan cursed softly under her breath. Recommend? Chen Shu said directly. Refused. He Chuan looked at him. Team Leader Chen, you may refuse, but you need a reason. Chen Shu said. The on-site temporary name settling procedure has effectively reduced synchronization fluctuations in 3 cases. One high-risk military order spillover case has been restrained. At present, there is no evidence that Lin Yao's projection has caused deterioration. He Chuan nodded. I need to see that data. Yi Jiwei's expression changed slightly. Her tablet contained the complete monitoring records. He Chuan looked at her. Observer Yi. According to research group regulations, on-site observation data should be synchronized back. Yi Jiwei tightened her grip on the tablet. She was a member of the Second Research Group. By procedure, she truly should upload it. But Chen Shu had just clearly required the raw data to remain in the Third Field Team's possession. This was a direct clash between 2 sets of authority. Yi Jiwei remained silent. He Chuan's tone remained gentle. Observer Yi, you should know what consequences delayed data can cause. This was not a threat. But it carried more weight than a threat. Yi Jiwei's face turned a little pale. Lin Yao suddenly spoke. You can give him a summary. Everyone looked at him. Lin Yao said. But not the original recordings. He Chuan's eyes moved slightly. Why? Because the original recordings contain the voices of withdrawers, temporary name holders, and high-risk military order spillover individuals. Those voices may be used again. Especially since there is still Luo Wence's line inside your second research group. He Chuan fell silent for the first time. Xin Wan's eyes shifted. Chen Shu did not object either. That sentence cut precisely. Lin Yao was not refusing data sharing. He was pointing out that the original voices themselves might be contamination or military order material. The second research group had already had a case like Fang Jian, a carrier for linguistic commands. Now they still wanted the original recordings. The risk was extremely high. He Chuan said. They can be de-identified. Lin Yao said. It is not only name identification. Voice print, sleep-muttering rhythm, withdrawal phrasing, high-risk command words. All of them could become samples. If you receive anything, it can only be a text summary in fluctuation ranges. Yi Jiwei said softly. Technically feasible. He Chuan looked at her. She added. And Mr. Lin is right. The original voices do carry risks of secondary contamination and retraining. He Chuan looked at Yi Jiwei, his gaze deepening. But he did not reprimand her on the spot. Very well. Then provide a summary first. Chen Shu said. After review by the third field team. He Chuan smiled. Acceptable. In the first round of confrontation, the second research group did not obtain the raw data. But He Chuan clearly would not leave just because of that. He looked toward the area behind the curtain. May I see the patients? Chen Shu said. From behind the observation line. No contact. No sampling. No recording. He Chuan nodded. Reasonable. He entered the activity center. The field operatives behind him wanted to follow, but Chen Shu stopped them. You alone. He Chuan did not object. After entering the hall, he first looked at Chen Byron. Withdrawer. Then Lin Jiaying. Family entanglement. When he looked at Little Boat, he paused a little longer. Temporary name holder. Little Boat clearly shrank back. Lin Yao stepped between him and He Chuan. He Chuan glanced at Lin Yao. You are very protective of him. Lin Yao said. He just stopped being forced to say his original name. You had better not make him feel like he is about to be studied again. He Chuan was silent for a moment. I am only observing. Observation also creates pressure. He Chuan nodded. Lesson taken. Those words sounded sincere, and also like strategy. Finally, he walked to the high-risk area where Guo Mingchuan lay. Guo Mingchuan was still unconscious. His wrists and ankles were restrained. He was no longer muttering the elimination command, but his monitoring fluctuations remained unstable. He Chuan watched for a long time. This person needs to be transferred. Chen Shu immediately said. No. He Chuan turned. He is a reality military order spillover node. You do not have sufficient equipment here. Chen Shu said. The third field team can transfer him to our secure facility. He Chuan shook his head. You can suppress aggressive behavior, but you cannot analyze the structure of military orders. Leaving him in your hands is only delaying. That sentence was harsh. But it was not entirely wrong. The third field team specialized in on-site safety handling. The second research group specialized in analyzing synchronization structures. The problem was whether the people doing the analysis could be trusted. Lin Yao asked. If he is handed to you, how will you handle him? He Chuan answered. Isolation. Non-invasive observation. If necessary, guided awakening to obtain the source of the military order. Lin Yao's gaze went cold. Guided awakening? He Chuan said. Stimulate the military order residue in a controlled environment, causing it to briefly manifest. Qin Wan's expression changed. That could connect him to Luo Wence again. He Chuan said calmly. That is why it must be done in a controlled environment. Lin Yao said. You want to use him to fish for the military order point. He Chuan did not deny it. If we can locate the reality military order point, we can prevent a larger disaster. The activity center fell quiet. This was the crueler choice of the reality side. Using one high-risk individual as bait might reveal the military order point. Refusing to do so might allow that point to spread. He Chuan's logic was not completely wrong. But Lin Yao did not trust him to hold the boundary. Lin Yao said. It requires the person's own consent. He Chuan looked at the unconscious Guo Mingchuan. He currently lacks capacity to act. Then guided awakening cannot be performed. In an emergency, the safety agency may make risk judgments on his behalf. That is exactly where you are most dangerous. Lin Yao's voice was cold. You can always find a greater safety reason and consent on someone else's behalf. He Chuan looked at him. And if more people die because we do not do this? Lin Yao did not answer right away. The question was heavy. Chen Shu was also looking at him. Because the third field team would also face similar choices. After a moment of silence, Lin Yao said. Localization can be done. He Chuan's eyes moved slightly. Conditions? No guided awakening. Use the spillover fluctuation that has already appeared to trace it backward. He Chuan frowned. The precision will not be enough. Lin Yao looked at the metal box. Add my diversion marker. Qin Wan immediately said. You want to use the alter projection? Low level. Lin Yao said. It will not touch his consciousness. It will only mark the direction of the high-risk military order fluctuation. He Chuan looked at him, and for the first time, real interest appeared on his face. You can do that? Not certain. Lin Yao answered. But it is better than waking him up as bait. Chen Shu made the decision. Try once. The third field team monitors. The second research group only sees the summary. He Chuan nodded. Acceptable. Lin Yao walked to Guo Mingchuan and opened the metal box by a crack. The shadow of the gray-white altar faintly emerged. He did not call Guo Mingchuan. Nor did he stimulate the military order. He only used the weak shadow of the Lord's sacrificial order to form a reality-side diversion marker in front of Guo Mingchuan. High-risk military order. After the marker appeared, the black mark on Guo Mingchuan's wrist lit faintly. A gray-black line, almost invisible to the naked eye, extended from his body toward the window. Yi Jiwei immediately captured the direction. Southwest. Qin Wan brought up the map. The gray-black line pointed into the depths of the old residential district. There was an abandoned shopping mall there. He Chuan looked at the map and said softly. Reality military order point. Chen Shu immediately ordered. Third field team, prepare to move out. He Chuan said. The second research group must go as well. Chen Shu looked at him. You may. But on-site command belongs to me. He Chuan smiled. As long as I can reach the site, I accept. Lin Yao looked at the abandoned mall marked on the map. Luo Wence's first reality military order point had been found. But he knew very clearly in his heart. He Chuan had also found what he wanted. The alter projection could mark the direction of military orders in reality. The second research group would not let go of that value. From this moment on, the reality battlefield truly opened. The abandoned mall was only a 12-minute drive from the activity center. It had once been a small commercial center often visited by nearby residents. There had been a supermarket on the first floor, tutoring centers on the second, and a gym and several small restaurants on the third. Later, because of rent, the pandemic, and the shift of the business district, the entire building gradually emptied out. Now the exterior walls were modeled, the signs were missing characters, and faded leasing notices were pasted on the glass doors. After 2 a.m, there was almost no one around the mall. But the closer they came to it, the heavier the metal box in Lin Yao's hands became. It was not physical weight. It was a kind of rule pressure. As if something ahead was taking shape, calling to its own kind while rejecting what was different. The third field team split into 2 units. Chen Shu led one unit through the front. Xinhuan led the second unit to seal the back door and underground parking lot. Yichuan brought Yi Jiwei and 2 second research group observers with him, but according to the agreement, he had no command authority. Lin Yao walked beside Chen Shu. Chen Shu glanced at him. Have you received field training before? No. Then do not rush in first. I know. Chen Shu paused. A lot of people say they know. When something happens, they rush in anyway. Lin Yao looked toward the mall entrance. I did not come here to be a warrior. I came here to divert. Chen Shu nodded. Remember that sentence. The mall's glass doors were not locked. As if they had been deliberately left open. The moment they entered, everyone heard a low broadcast. It was not mall music. It was a voice recording playing on repeat. Please proceed to the 3rd floor for assembly. Please complete return to formation confirmation. Please do not listen to withdrawal interference. Names will be uniformly organized within the queue. Yi Jiwei's face changed. The broadcast system has been taken over. Chen Shu gestured, and the field operatives immediately spread out to check. Lin Yao looked at the empty first floor. The supermarket's rolling shutter was down. Dust covered the service counter. But there were footprints on the ground. Not just one person's. Many people. They had entered from the doorway and walked toward the escalators. Lin Yao crouched and looked at the footprints. Some of them were messy. As if those people had hesitated. Some were extremely orderly. As if they had already been pulled by the rhythm of the military order. Chen Shu asked quietly. Assessment? Lin Yao replied. Some were summoned here. Some are already half returned to formation. Some may be collaborators. Yichuan said from behind. Estimated number on site? Yi Jiwei looked at the equipment. At least 27 life signs. Concentrated on the 3rd floor. 27 people. Not 30. But already enough to form a small reality military order point. Lin Yao asked. Nearby residents? Xinhuan answered through calms. No ordinary residents have entered the sealed area for now. But 2 family members are outside, saying their relatives were called here by text message. Text message. Luo Wence was not only using sleep-muttering in military orders to call people back. He was also using reality-side communication. Lin Yao asked. Content of the texts? Xinhuan sent over a screenshot. Your high synchronization protocol status requires correction. Please proceed to the designated location before 2:10 tonight to complete safety confirmation. Overdue processing may affect subsequent rights and benefits. Procedural correction again. Safety confirmation. Subsequent rights and benefits. Reality side inducement language. Lin Yao forwarded the screenshot to Chen Shu. Chen Shu only glanced at it once before his face turned cold. "This is not an official message," He Chuan said. "But it uses an official-like format." Lin Yao looked at him. "Your internal format?" He Chuan did not answer immediately. Yi Jiwei's expression changed slightly. Lin Yao already knew the answer. It very likely came from an internal template of the second research group. Luo Wence, or one of his collaborators, could still access part of the reality side data. Chen Shu said coldly. "We will settle that later. First, the third floor." The team moved up the escalator. The second floor was empty. The tutoring center signs were still there. Old class schedules were pasted on the glass doors. But several black-gray slips of paper were caught in the door cracks. Yi Jiwei removed them with tweezers. There was only one sentence written on each slip. "Withdrawal invalid. Complete correction." Lin Yao said. "Do not read it aloud." Yi Jiwei immediately closed her mouth. They continued toward the third floor. The closer they came, the clearer the broadcast became. "Please proceed to the third floor for assembly. Please complete return to formation confirmation. Please do not listen to withdrawal interference. Names will be uniformly organized within the queue." Lin Yao noticed that this broadcast was cruder than the military order on the old Salt Road. It was not as complete as the True L series. But it was more suited to reality. Because people in reality had instinctive responses to broadcasts, text messages, notices, and official formats. Luo Wence was translating the military order from the game into the command language of real society. Not return to formation, but complete correction. Not clearing, but safety confirmation. Not loss of name, but uniform organization. This was more dangerous. Because it did not need to be as obvious as the whispers of the black tide. It had put on the coat of a reality side procedure. Before the third floor entrance, Chen Shu stopped. He signaled. The field operatives split left and right and pressed against the walls. Lin Yao looked through the crack in the door. The third floor had originally been a gym and restaurant area. Now, in the central open space, more than 20 people were standing. There were men and women, ranging from teenagers to people in their 50s. Most of them looked dazed. A small number stood very straight. At the very front, a temporary projection screen had been set up. On the screen was not Luo Wence himself. It was a black-gray military order symbol. Beside it was a laptop connected to the mall broadcast. A young man in a white shirt stood beside the laptop, operating it. He was not Luo Wence. But his movements, expression, and tone all resembled a follower of Luo Wence. A reality-side gray-clothed lecturer. He spoke to the crowd. "Everyone, there is no need to be afraid. You were not summoned. You are completing self-protection. Recently, unknown external rules have interfered with high synchronization protocols. If correction is not completed, it may lead to memory confusion, identity fluctuation, loss of game rights, and even reality-side safety risks." Someone in the crowd asked in a trembling voice. "Can I go home?" The man in the white shirt showed a gentle smile. "Of course. But please complete exit confirmation first. Leaving directly without confirmation may cause synchronization residue." Lin Yao's eyes went cold. This was the reality side version of not being allowed to exit. They said people could go home. But first, they set up an exit confirmation. And that confirmation was very likely military order correction. Chen Shu asked quietly. "Break in?" Lin Yao shook his head. "Cut the broadcast first. If we break in directly, he will say we are disrupting safety confirmation. He Chuan asked in a low voice. Then what are you planning to do? Lin Yao looked at the people inside. Illuminate the terms. He opened the metal box. This time, it was no longer only a weak marker. The Warsoul altar projection split off a very faint shadow of a diversion wooden tag. Disclosure. Lin Yao pressed it against the wall beside the door. The shadow of the wooden tag seeped along the broadcast lines. The next second, the mall broadcast stuttered. The original voice was interrupted. Please complete return to. Please confirm the full risk terms first. The entire room went still. The man in the white shirt's expression changed abruptly. On the projection screen, the correction terms that had been hidden began appearing one line after another. After completing correction, the individual will temporarily accept unified command guidance. During correction, withdrawal intent must undergo safety review. If resistance, flight, refusal of naming, or related states occur, force stabilization may be activated. Force stabilization may include memory interruption, movement restriction, and consciousness suppression. The crowd instantly exploded. What does consciousness suppression mean? You did not say this earlier. I only received a text asking me to come confirm something. Who said I agreed to accept commands? I want to leave. The man in the white shirt immediately shouted. Do not be interfered with. This is an external contamination rule. Chen Shu seized the moment. Move. The third field team broke in. Everyone stay where you are. We are reality side safety field operatives, not research group recruitment. Diversion is now being carried out. No forced correction will be performed. Lin Yao walked onto the third floor. The metal box in his hands glowed with a faint gray-white light. When the man in the white shirt saw him, his pupils constricted. Lin Yao. Lin Yao looked at him. Where is Luo Wence? The man in the white shirt smiled. Mr. Luo does not need to be here. The military order is already here. He suddenly pressed a key on the laptop. All the lights on the third floor went out. In the darkness, more than 20 people heard a low command at the same time. Correction begins. Withdrawers, silence. Blockers, eliminate. The reality military order point officially activated.